folks who have registered. If you're on the wait list, we might ask you to hold back in the rooms just to make sure we can confirm folks who do register. And for that, I'm going to hand it over to our two wonderful ISCO grad interns, Janet and Sai, to kick off this workshop.
Everyone for coming and joining us for today's session on getting involved as an international graduate student. My name is Janet Sitt. I am a fourth-year PhD music student, originally from Hong Kong, Canada. But I'm also very much, I was here 3 years ago, not in this room, in this trip, as an international graduate student. And we have wonderful speakers today from, we have them from GPSA, which is the Graduate and Professional Student Association. We also have people from, I can't remember this acronym right, it's Graduate and Postdoc Affairs. Yeah, okay. We have Ashley from GPA, and we have Peter from GPSA, and then we have Chelsea and Delaney and Ograd from Housing, Dining, and Hospitality. And so at the end of that, we'll have a Q&A. There are also students that are joining us online. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to our first speaker.
A few more intro slides.
Oh, right, okay. Intro slides. Oops. So yes, before we begin, there will be a recording, and also you are welcome to ask questions at the end. We have our Zoom participants, and they are also free to use the chat to submit questions. Reading through. Is that our, okay, so that's our, I'm gonna just move this. Okay, so with an international graduate student, inside your department, there will be committees, goal-oriented project groups, mentorship programs, discipline-specific organization, and community partnerships and outreach programs. What do these all things mean? So within the committees, you might have, and at least in my department, we have programming committees throughout the year. If your department has any sort of seminar type, there might be seminar programming committees. There might also be committees for diversity and inclusion, which we have in like at the GPSA level, at the school level, but also inside the department level. There might be goal-oriented project groups. So this kind of falls into, my department is going through a faculty search right now. So we have faculty search committees that you can join, or you might be asked to join. There are also mentorship programs. I believe a number of STEM programs do have mentorship. In music, this doesn't work quite the same. But there will also, so these will be inside your department. You will get these emails from your grad advisor and also from other faculty. But sometimes faculty will actually just send emails out to all the grads in the department with specific things that come up. And this will also apply as you are nearing the end of your degree, and there will be inside your department, there might be faculty emails saying like, hey, this university in this state might be hiring, hey, there's internship opportunities. So these are internal to your department that are specific to your discipline. There are also kind of professional conferences and things that are happening within your department. So for music, we have musicology conferences, and then we will all pull together and kind of like work towards, if we're hosting the event, there will be chances for you to get involved. And then lastly, we have community partnerships and outreach programs. And this is just like a small list, so there could be more stuff in your department. But in my department right now, we have a 2-year funding program to actually build new community partnerships. And so one of this could be working with the community, doing mentorship, like one-day mentorship outreach programs. It comes in different forms, but there are definitely opportunities within each department. And also if it's not within the department that's specific, it would be under the greater department. So for engineering students, it will be under like the greater engineering department, but there's a number of emails that come through for opportunities. So outside your department, as we have here today, we have the GPSA. I did not correct that slide. I am sorry. We have GEPA and ACH, and also on the UCSD website, there is also a list of student-run organizations that are based on geographies, communities, interest groups. So there could be like, there is one I know for like sailing, there is one for like biking, there is one for hiking. There are actually, some of them also have Instagram accounts. So I know that there's like one, for example, UCSD women surfers, and there will be a group that's like for all women surfers who are interested in building communities together. So there's a number of things that are listed on the site, but also other departments and offices will also have different partnerships within the community that are internal and also external. And I think I'm just gonna keep on, oh, there's a second. So there's like lots of opportunities where you get more involved as an international graduate student. And some of the things that you want to ask when you start getting involved is, how much time do I need to devote per week? Some of them are like, once a week you might have a meeting, once a month you might have a meeting. And how much are you expected to do in terms of responsibilities, expectations? And some of them, as Peter will point out from the GPSA, like what are the protocols if there are meetings that you have to attend, you cannot attend? And I will let Peter speak about that as part of GPSA. So this is all things to ask. And as you're coming into your international graduate degree here, you might find that the first 2 years is just like way too busy and you're like, I don't have time for this. But also keep in mind that you can also join, there's a number of things with like a number of time commitments. So some of them are much more involved and some of them are much less involved. So it all depends on like what your interests are, what your short-term, long-term goals are. Like there are community partnerships that maybe you want to be building towards like maybe a possible career path down the line. So there's lots of like things, there's something for everyone at UCSC that you want to like try, and it could be towards your career, but also just be for fun. I just want to put in a fun thing that during the pandemic, there was actually a fun class that you can get involved in. There was underwater basketball. I just want to put it out there. So we have lots of different fun things going on. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Ashley from the GEPA, and then we'll be followed by HGH and GPSA.
Round of applause for Ashley. And Jenna can change slides for you. Okay, where you are. Awesome.
Hi everyone, I'm Ashley Gatlanis. I'm a second year in the Latin American Studies program here at UCSD. I'm also the grad life intern for GEPA, which is the Graduate Education and Postdoctoral Affairs Division, the new grad division. So if you just want to call it GEPA for short, that's we know that's the graduate division. So here's student life at GEPA. So before I wanted to go into the student life and how you can be involved or attend any and all events, a little bit about GEPA. So GEPA is student-centered, research-focused, service-oriented, and likes to focus on professional and career and academic development. So we're here to support you in all those aspects, especially with campus partners. So campus partners like to host a lot of events that center around our goals for students. And so we share that information to you. And that information is usually distributed either on our social media accounts or on the e-newsletter. So a little bit about the weekly e-newsletter. So what it is, it's a weekly newsletter that goes out to all students, grad students, that shares programming, events, webinars, career opportunities, funding that you may need to seek out. So there's a bunch of different opportunities for you to become involved or have the support that you need. And GEPA, GEPA is sort of it. I'm trying to think of a little visual. So think of GEPA as this train station, this center train station. So you come into it and we kind of direct you on where you want to go in terms of what strengths, what skills do you want to, either develop or strengthen or even learn along the way during your time here at UCSD, or even after. With that, so grad life. So grad life, I'm a grad life intern. If you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, you can always reach me at gradlife@ucsd.edu, and I will direct your comments, questions, concerns to the right person to make sure you are supported in any and every way. Next is messages and events. Wednesday workshops. So Wednesday's workshops are going to be a quarterly event, around 3 to 4 Wednesdays out of the quarter. And this year's theme is student stories. So with that, it's going to be an hour luncheon event where you share your story. It could be your academic story, it could be your personal story. Just recognizing that we are all, people first. And then if you want to share your academic story, whatever you want to share, it's just building that community among all us grad students and highlighting your voice as a student so you can feel empowered to, be here at UCSD and also get that support. I think that is all. Do you want to wait for questions at the end?
Yeah, we're gonna wait for questions towards the end.
Okay, awesome. So you can follow GEPA and Grad Life on all these social media platforms. So it's at UCSD GEPA and at UCSD Grad Life. So don't hesitate to contact us. We're always here for you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
All right, and then for the next speaker, we have housing, dining, and hospitality. Yeah. Can I do a space bar or? Oh, yeah, I think so.
I'm just gonna make a quick note before our lovely colleagues from HPH take over. The acoustics in this room are very sensitive. So even if you're having a very quiet side conversation, unfortunately, it does make it difficult to hear our presenter. So as much as possible, if we can just focus on the presentation, we want to honor their time and their volunteering to be here. So with that, thank you so much, HPH.
Thank you, Grace. Hello, everybody. My name is Kelsey Dantu, and this is, hi, I'm Azad. Azad is one of our community assistants. So we're HH Connect, and you probably see our emails on a weekly basis. So this is who we are. So we're going to talk to you about, what we do, okay? This is just kind of the HGH org chart. Probably not that relevant to you guys, but we just wanted to include it. But here we are down here, and I'll talk more about what our team, who we are. Okay, so there's 3 main things that we do. So we're heavily involved in programming. So obviously that's something that Azad, one of our community assistants out of 15, they put on weekly programming for all of you, for grad residents and GFH. And so that includes Nuevo East, Mesa Nueva, OMS Nuevo West, and Coast. So all those communities, if you live in that, our team puts on those programs for you. So then there's going to be some programs coming up shortly that Azad will talk about. So we do that. We also are involved with student conduct. So just making sure that our grad residents are adherent to the residential life community standards. And then we also are involved in assessment. So one thing you probably will see in the next coming months is our fall survey. So we'll send that out to all grad residents. And we just kind of want to get a temperature check on how you guys are doing just living in GFH, and how the amenities are, the programming. So we just do that every year just to make sure that you guys as students and residents are, happy and satisfied and feeling, sense of belonging. Our team, HH Connect, consists of our manager and supervisor, Anthony Keane Louie, and then we have 3 coordinators, which is Natalie, Steffi, and Jutika. And then myself, I'm the program and community development assistant. So I just support my team and the coordinators and our manager, just with everything related. And then we also have our 15 community assistants. That is one of them. And then we also have other 14 community assistants that, again, like I said, assist with programming. And then we also have a BGE LLC community liaison. So that's our Black Grad Experience Living, Learning, Community liaison. Wrong word. But basically, they support Black grad residents, just in their living situations and supporting other Black grads. So I'm gonna hand over to Eva. Awesome. Thank you so much, Kelsey. So my name is Azad. I'm a community assistant for Nuevo East. So I do see few familiar faces from some programs that I've put on before. I'm also a PhD student. I'm also a grad student here at UCSD in biological sciences. So, some of the events that we put on do cater to grad students, professional students, and we try to make it have a slew of events that are pretty diverse. So just from like this slide, if you can see from there, we have different types of events like mixers that are for certain communities or demographics, just to create some sort of community, people get to know each other. We put on another program that I put out was this Burn Bright Not Out. So overcoming grad school burnout, which is pretty relevant for a lot of people, unfortunately, but there's always ways, strategies to deal with that. And so what I did for that program was worked with CAPS and GAPS, so they're focused on more mental health strategies and workshops that can be put on. And so another program that was put on was this landscaping tour and owl planting. So if you're ever interested in like sustainability, gardening, there's all sorts of things that can be put on. I mean, like think of an event, something, I guarantee you'll find like something that is put on that you could find of interest to you. So one of the most invaluable parts of this position really is getting like feedback from everybody, right? I know we have like a Q&A session at the end. So if there's any sort of like programs that you'd like to see that are catered towards international students, I know it can be really hard moving a long way from home and into a really new environment. So, our goal is to make sure that we can foster and create a community that you feel welcome in. And that's really one of our major goals. So with our programming, that's our goal. So I do have a few upcoming programs during the fall. So one of those will be like a hot cocoa bar. So, once it gets a little cooler and it's not as hot all the time, it's going to be a really fun event for that. We're going to have some more mixers, and then of course the Meet Your CA events. Depending on what community you live in, we're going to have programs that are dedicated to that. So keep an eye out for our newsletters.
Perfect.
Love the plug. We got to put a plug in there.
Next one.
One thing I want to add is, so we're involved in programming, like I said. We're not involved in like leasing or like housing stuff. That's GFH. So they're involved with that. So if you have questions about like your housing situation or whatever, you can contact them, but we're strictly involved with programming. So just want to be sure that you guys know that. And you can always reach out to us at hthconnect@ucsd.edu. That's our main account. If you have questions, comments, want to say, hey, how you doing? You can do that too. So that's our main email. As I said, we do have our weekly newsletters that go out. You probably received one yesterday, and you probably received another one today. And that's again just to showcase some of the programming that UGBAD and other CAs are doing. It also includes some great information on what our other campus partners are doing, such as ISPO. We'll include information about that. The Triton Food Pantry, other relevant information for you all, so you guys know where you can go and get certain resources, just in case you don't know. So that information is included in this weekly newsletter that usually goes out every Monday around 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. And if you're not on that mailing list or you have questions about it, you can contact the email hthconnect@ucsd.edu and we'll get you on it. Next thing, we have a large scale event. It's called Marquee. And so this is a quarterly event. We have a really exciting one happening next Wednesday. Again, you probably got the email today. And it's called our Connect Carnival. And so, yeah, you guys, sign up. UGBAD's actually going to be doing some pre-registration stuff later today. So if you saw that email, we highly encourage you to come out to these programs. And this is what our pro staff puts on. And again, it's just a way for us to engage the community, engage those who live here, those who have family members or dependents. They're all welcome, and it's super fun. We've had the summer movie series. You guys came out for Encanto and the Spider-Man movie, and we also had the block party this past April. The Connect Carnival is going to include some carnival games and some food trucks, and we're going to have a DJ. It's going to be lit. You guys should come. So register, and we'll see you there. So it's next Wednesday. So again, look out for that email. Okay, awesome. So I did mention that we put on a wide range of events, and so that really wouldn't be possible without the collaborators that we have. And so a few of them are just listed over here. So I've worked with CAPS, Counseling Psychological Services, the Triton Food Pantry. I do actually have a pop-up coming up, so look out October 16. I've worked with Econauts. We've worked with the LGBT Resource Center, the Center for Student Involvement. I mean, you name it, we've worked with them. So if there's another, resource or org that you think we should be working with, again, reach out to the HDH Connect email, shoot us an email, let us know what you think we should be doing. Another event I wanted to kind of spotlight was that that I and some of my former CA colleagues, we collaborated actually with ISPO. So we had take me out to the ball games.
Yes,
Yeah, that's what so like a game night where we went out to watch a game with the Padres. And so that was a really, really fun event. We got tickets sponsored for everybody. So it was a free event for everybody here, for anyone who registered. And so we wanted to cater towards, international students as well. And working with ISPO, we were able to do that. And so that was a really, really fun event. And so we do hope to collaborate again in the future. So that's something we're really looking for. So again, if there's anything, that you think we could bring to grad and family housing, so, within the community that you live in, that would be excellent. And we're definitely open to doing that. So feedback is always welcome.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Abed. And Abed mentioned a really good thing. Our programs are free, so you don't feel like you have to come and you pay for something. You don't have to. It's free. We're paid to do this. So just know that it's for you guys, by us, but for you. Kind of similar to what Abed was saying, just about who we collaborate with. But here are some great resources. The Trenton Food Pantry, I know that's very popular, right, Abed, for a lot of residents, just those who maybe food insecure or just want to know more about just food resources. This is a really great program and just operation on campus. So take advantage of it and tell other people about it. And then the Food Recovery Network and then the HH donation program. And then lastly, as I mentioned, we do have the BG LLC. So this is under us and it's the the Black Grad Experience. LLC, gosh, it's so long. But you know what I mean. Okay, so, but it's really awesome because it's catered to those who identify as Black or African American. So if you have any friends who identify as that, let them know about this awesome resource. There is a lounge over in the Louisville East in the GEPA building. And it's just for those to kind of gather, have community. And sometimes they put on events and they collaborate with the Black Resource Center, the Grad Division, and I think just some other organizations as well. So that's all we have. So thank you, Agad, again. And again, if you have questions about anything, please. You have a question? Okay, please do after. I think we're going to do questions after. Sorry. But you can email us at hhconnect@ucsb.edu. But just please know that, again, we're here to serve you. Agad does a wonderful job along with other CAs. And we just want to get all of you coming out to these programs and just kind of, fellowship, congregate, and just make connections. So that's what we do, HH Connect. So thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Great presentation, lots of good information. And for the last part, we have Peter from Graduate Professional Student Association, GPSA, to talk about all the ways you can get involved through the GPSA. Peter.
All right, hello everybody. How's everybody doing this afternoon? It is afternoon, yeah. These days are just right. So as Janet said, my name is Peter Wilborn. You can call me PJ, whichever one is cool with you. I respond to both. I am a second-year master's student at the School of Global Policy and Strategy, right down the way next to the Radio School and everywhere like that. And I also serve as the Vice President of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion for the Graduate Professional Student Association. I also have one of my colleagues, I believe, is also online, Linda. I believe she's here.
Oh, yeah. Hi, I'm Linda. Can you guys hear me?
Linda, you want to introduce yourself? I know you also have like the first slide as well, so yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so hi everyone, I'm Linda. I'm a second-year PhD student in the biomedical science. And then I'm a VP Finance in the GPSA. So yeah, let's get started to talk about GPSA. So first, as you know, GPSA stands for Graduate and Professional Student Association. We aim to improve the graduate student lives and through, like social events or like cultural inclusions and etc. And then here I put the link to the GPSA website. On the GPSA website, you can see we have a bunch of social events linked to on the website. So for example, we just finished helping with the Petra game, and then there's gonna be another upcoming Petra games on September 30th, I believe. The all grads email was just sent out this morning. And then also under the GPSA website, you can see we have a bunch of resources. The most important ones are the finance ones. Well, I mean the finance though. This basically we have we want to help to support graduate students events that's held by departmental or student organizations. So if you join any student organization or departmental events, and then you need money for help, please come to us. We just increased our budget for all the for supporting all the student events. And then we also have a bunch of advocacy on campus or outside of the campus, like reaching out to state politicians, but that's external job. And also if you are really interested in helping with student life and also like just understand like campus and also local issues, you can also get involved with the GPSA by being like a program representative. So yeah, that's mostly my side. PJ, I'll hand it to you.
Thanks, Linda. So no, as Linda basically mentioned in every way, we are essentially your advocates as graduate students within grad division. That takes many different forms, depending on what the different executive members handle. So like I said, I'm the Vice President of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, excuse me. That entails many different things because EDI is involved in everything to some degree. But like Linda said, she also handles VP Finance. We have a VP of External Affairs, Internal Affairs, social different events. I remember I saw some familiar faces, I believe, from the resource fair, I think. And we just recently had the Padres game that we went to. We also had the social at Dirty Birds. We put on different events for you guys. It's already hard enough being a grad student, guys. Let's not make it harder. And so we just try to make sure that we advocate for you in both as students, but also in relation to the admin. So some of the things we do to keep students involved is having committees, as well as volunteering opportunities and various different things that we send out through your official UCSD email. From my end is EDI, but also through GPSA as a total. We also work with a lot of our campus partners like HDH, GFH, GEPA. There's a lot of acronyms. We'll learn them all eventually. And various other campus organizations to make sure you guys have what you need to succeed at your time while you're here at UCSD. So we already talked about the food pantry with HDH. There's also a lot of different resources under this link right here in HDH. We also have some other independent resources as well, which we have been linking on our website. We also have housing resources both off campus and on campus. We know that's we definitely know that's an evolving situation here on campus, and we try to keep you guys up to date with all the resources you can possibly have. We also try to connect students to various on and off campus orgs and resources. We mentioned earlier that we have committees that everybody runs, like for example, I run the Diversity Action Committee, as well as the Bullying and Harassment Committee, which everybody here as graduate students are available. As graduate students, you're basically able to participate by just being graduate students and reaching out to us and expressing interest. So these are just some of the things that we try to cover within GPSA as a whole. But we also cover various other aspects of grad life here as your student government. And we cover all of these things definitely down on our website. You can also contact us on our emails at those contacts as well. We always check those emails. Trust me, we check them all the time. So yeah, that is us as GPSA. We want to thank you guys for your time. If you have any questions for myself, I'll be around later to stick around, see if I can direct you to anybody. Linda's email will also be under the website. You can find us all under contacts. We just recently updated everybody's contact information and pictures, so you know what we look like. And yes, that is all I have. Thank you guys so much for your time.
And thank you, Linda. So right now, we would ask if you can go to this QR code and fill in the survey, but at this time, we're also taking questions. I know that there were some hands that were up earlier, taking questions about how to get involved in that international graduate student or any other concern that you might have about getting involved. I don't know if there's any questions in the chat, Chris.
Not right now, but I have a question for you all to kick us off. What are some events that you would love to see for the international international graduate community this year? Feel free to raise your hand if you're like, I want to go snorkeling. Fun fact, there is a Triton Trekker snorkeling event coming up this October, so eyes peeled for your Ivan's calendar. But yeah, feel free to raise your hand with different event ideas that you'd love to see.
A karaoke night.
Oh, karaoke night, okay, love it. You have a lot of programmers in this space. So Janet was our ISPO grad intern, Sai is our academic year. I know that we have some community assistants, so a lot of people who are involved. I think I saw a hand over here. Yes.
Something regarding the sports, some sporting events?
Yes. Okay, so are you talking like UCSB sporting events or like going to a Padres game like we did last year?
No, I mean just the UCSB.
Okay. Yes, I know. So I've been talking with athletics. They put all of their games on our iEvents calendar, but they're also interested in collaborating and maybe doing like an international student tailgate.
Yeah.
So doing a tailgate before the event and then going to the game together. Very good. I love that idea.
But also, if you want to play soccer, there's also like clubs that you can join on campus to play soccer. And if you're on grad housing, there are nice fields on grad housing side, as well as a soccer field near the main gym. So there's lots of practice spaces too.
I heard kayaking over here. There is another Triton Trekkers kayaking event. It's almost like I do this for a living. Also coming up in October. So again, that will be posted on our iEvents calendar. Those trips go super fast. So keep an eye out because they go so fast. And I will say that if it's a Triton Trekkers event, we work with our colleagues Outback Adventures to offer those, but we offer discounts for international students for Triton Trekker events. So keep an eye out, they go fast, but I think this quarter we have a snorkeling trip, a kayaking trip, and then we have a hiking trip to hike Potato Chip Rock. And if you don't know Potato Chip Rock, it's a very common hike in the San Diego area.
I do have a question for you. Does the Triton Trekker, I know UCSD Rec has surfing fundamentals and they always still like sell out like in less than a minute. Does Triton Trekker do surfing or is that mostly on the UCSD Rec? I think that's mostly.
Mostly UCSD Rec because they typically offer classes because for surfing, it takes a little bit of time to get used to it and to get good at it. And so that's usually for UCSD Rec.
For those who are interested in surfing, this is a great way to meet other people on campus. I could not get into the whole year that I tried. I went to like an off-campus thing, but I would highly recommend the one because you'll go to La Jolla Shores where the Strip Pier is, and you will see all these students in like their little yellow bibs, and they're all like practicing on the ground and trying to. So it's really, really fun, and so you can like have that spot when it opens. It's usually every quarter there'll be a date when they register for registration. So I suggest that you check when they open because they actually do it on a rolling basis. So if they're doing a trip for like a month out, they'll open the spots like at a certain point. So keep on checking because if you do check it and they're opening at 7, be there at 6:59 and people like move out in there as grad students. Like we're just like bringing the quick in to log in, but those trips go really quickly. But there's lots of fun stuff at Rec. There's intramurals, there's teams, but there's also like I've taken swimming classes, there's dancing classes, and also fun fact, you can also get elective credits if you need it because the theater and dance department does offer dance classes that you can take as credit. This is just that's not like an official. I'm just speaking as a grad student.
My last plug is that if you fill out the survey and in the survey say, I would like to see this event this year, we often will go back to our survey feedback and say, what event should we program? And if it's listed in your survey feedback, it carries extra weight. So fill out the survey and say which events you want to see.
We could have karaoke at these Pools Grove. That was a good party last night.
Yeah.
And so plug in for Sai. Sai's going to be our academic year, so you have a karaoke request. Did you?
Yeah, I had a question. So I checked the iEvents page and there was some event where I think it was coordinating an event to take us to the beach and I don't know, I don't know, I saw somewhere welcome TWOW that page and there was no registration link on that.
Don't mind me. I'm just going to check the iEvents calendar really quick. Some live action, if you will.
The welcome beach one.
Oh, so TWOW. So this is actually a great point of clarification. So TWOW stands for Triton Weeks of Welcome, and that's the campus initiative to welcome students to San Diego, to UC San Diego. So there's a lot of different things that are a part of TWOW. So for example, international orientation is a part of TWOW. but also all of your, like, you had grad orientation, that's a part of TUL, college orientation for undergrad. There's also our traditional welcome week events. Those are fall under TUL. Convocation is a part of TUL. So basically, anything that's welcoming students to campus is a part of TUL. But because there's so many different folks involved in TUL, there are different event coordinators. So we will host all of the international orientation TUL events, but for other events that might be handled by another office here on campus. But with that, if you're ever curious, the vanity URL is just tul.ucsd.edu. And you can see like, oh, this is what Trade Weeks of Welcome. They have like an intro video. You can see there's also like some of our signature events.
This one.
Okay, yes. So which one did you have a question about again?
Yeah, if you scroll a little bit down further.
Meet the Beach?
Yeah, make it.
Oh yeah, okay, so Meet the Beach is a campus-wide event. All students are welcome. And it takes place, yes, I think in a couple of weekends from now. It's hosted by Recreation. So Janet was just plugging Recreation. So that department hosts Meet the Beach and it's so fun. There's like so much happening at Meet the Beach.
So you go, when you sign in, like do sign up for that as a
Sign up.
student? Sign up
But
because
there
then
is
you
no
get.
link for that. That's what I want.
Ooh, so
Ooh,
I would
okay, that
email
was-
recreation@ucsd.edu. Yeah.
Because when you get there, you'll get like a whole bunch of free swag because they want to have that like picture of like, because you'll see like so many students along the beach. They'll all have UCSD rec towels. There'll be like DJs, there'll be activities. I think last year when I saw there was like aerial yoga, there's like all kinds of like sample UCSD rec classes. So they all do like little like demos. So I definitely highly recommend for you to like experience it. That's really, really fun.
It's when UC San Diego takes over La Jolla Shores. It's like truly, it's very overwhelming. It's great. And then there's also, yes, a live calendar. So right now, ISPO is very well represented on the live calendar. But then as you scroll through, you'll see like the Birch Aquarium is free right now for all students. So that's really cool. But there's a lot. So you'll see not just ISPO, but you're going to see a lot of other different types of events on the TWAP calendar as well. I know there was a question earlier for HDH, and I want to make sure we get to that. Yeah, what was your question?
Regarding the food pantry.
Okay, did you have a specific question about the food
I mean,
pantry?
I went to it today, it was
Okay.
closed,
Okay.
but the working hours are from 9 to 5, so I want to know where it's open right now.
That is a great question. I know that,
It's the next thing will be on 15th, and then it'll be after.
Okay.
That's
after
great.
19, it'll be more regular.
I was just gonna say, so I know that a lot of offices, especially if they're student facing, are a little bit closed because classes haven't started yet.
Okay, okay.
So a lot, if you go to an office and it's closed, it's probably because it's still technically summer. But once classes start, then all of the offices should be at their normal operating hours. Yeah, good question though. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Any other questions? Or any other event ideas? Okay, so maybe while these questions are percolating, I am going to let. Do you want to talk about ISAC or do you want me to talk about ISAC? Okay, so some ways to get involved with ISPO. So ISAC stands for our International Student Advisory Council. We meet we meet monthly throughout the academic year, and it's a way to basically gather a group of people who are dedicated to improving the international student experience here at UC San Diego. So we have grad student representatives, we have undergraduate student representatives. So if you, this sounds weird, if you care about international students at UC San Diego, you might want to get involved in ISAC. There's been a lot of initiatives that have come out of ISAC. So I know there's been like some years where parking has been a huge issue, and that's come up as an issue in ISAC. And because of that, we reached out to our folks and our partners in parking, and we brought them to an ISAC meeting so that we could have a more productive conversation. So it's kind of ISPO's way of having a pulse on like, what is affecting our international students? What do they care about? What do they want to see? So if that sounds like appealing to you, it's a way for you to give feedback to ISPO. It's a way for ISPO to share resources with different like student representatives so that you can share it with your peers. So let's say, I know during the pandemic, there were a lot of fun immigration policy changes. So we would obviously say that through our newsletter, but we'd also disseminate that information through our ISAC representatives. So they're a really good resource to have us. And then also being a part of ISAC gets you certain benefits. So if you like planning events, you get to reserve all ISPO spaces for free, which you probably haven't planned an event at UC San Diego yet because you're a student, but that's not always the case. So being able to reserve like this area, the large conference room, or a eucalyptus grove, you can also partner with some of our interns. Wow. To plan events. So maybe you're really motivated about that karaoke night. You could sign up, volunteer to plan that. With that, if you can also apply for the International Students Programs Fund, point of clarification, this is not like a personal student fund. So like you as an individual cannot apply for that, but you as an individual who wants to plan an event that benefits the international graduate community can apply for that fund, and we'll support you financially to offer an event to the community. And it's also a great way to like get the ear of ISPO leadership. So I personally attend all ISAC events. Dulce, our director, attends the vast majority of ISAC events. So if there's an issue of concern for you, we usually have really strong ISPO leadership representation at all of our ISAC meetings. The Get CCR, I think a few of you were at my session yesterday, so apologies. But the Get CCR stands for the Globally Engaged Tritons Co-Curricular Record. So the CCR is essentially the complement to your academic transcript. So just as when you graduate from the university, you're going to have a transcript that says all of the courses that you did, your CCR is going to list all the activities you were involved in. And it's the university's way of acknowledging that learning takes place both inside and outside the classroom. So the transcript is a learning for inside the classroom. The CCR is for learning outside the classroom. In the same way that you would have different courses on your transcript, you can have different activities on your CCR. And one of those activities is the Get CCR. For any CCR activity, you're going to need 30 hours to be able to list that on your co-curricular record, your CCR, and it needs to be validated by a UCSD staff member. Yours truly validates the Get CCR. And fun fact, almost all orientation workshops and events are eligible for Get CCR credits. So if you find yourself attending Lunch and Learns, attending coffee hour, attending grad social, you have potentially already accrued 3 hours towards the Get CCR. Wow. So you can take credit, you can get credit for things that you're already doing. So I would really recommend checking it out. You can go to getccr.ucsd.edu and you can begin that registration process. And again, that's just getccr.ucsd.edu. Meetups are a way. Sorry, do you want to know? Sorry, I'm just smiling. Okay, so orientation. Yes, you need to know certain things as an international student. It's very important that you know how to maintain your international student status. ISPO is here to support you and help you with that. Ultimately, it's each student's responsibility to maintain an active CVIS record during their time at UC San Diego. The other big part of orientation, I think, is meeting people. I think that's a huge part of orientation and beginning your life here at UC San Diego. So we have a lot of events, we have lunch and learns, we have coffee hour, we have grad social, we have all the things, but we also have meetups. And meetups, there are two kinds. So one are regional meetups, and then the other is interest group meetups. And so for regional meetups, that's a chance for you to meet folks from a specific region. So I think the Europe meetup is tonight. I think the North America meetup was last night.
And last time also Southeast Asia.
Yes, but there's a ton of different meetups happening. So if you're interested, you can attend a meetup for your own home region, but you can also attend meetups for other regions if you're curious about meeting folks from that region. And then we have a number of interest group meetups. So let's say you're into photography or hiking or cooking. There's like so many different kinds of interest group meetups. And again, that's a way for you to meet people who might share a similar interest to you. Hopefully you are all aware of the iEvents calendar by now. I feel like if I had one talking point, it would just be the iEvents calendar. But fun fact, for the iEvents calendar, I'm actually just going to show this live. If you're ever curious, I did this in my session yesterday too. You're like, what events are eligible for the Get CCR? Wow. All these events are eligible for the Get CCR. You here today, you here earlier today. Oh wait, no. you here tomorrow. So all these events are like, again, you could like accrue half your hours for the Get CCR through orientation alone. Because I don't hate the game. I know a lot of students who also click this tag. Quick note about events at ISPO and at UC San Diego. Food is first come, first served for all events that you will attend at this university. So my recommendation is come early. If you arrive early at events, you exponentially increase your chance of getting food at said events. If you arrive 15-30 more late, your chances might be very low at getting food at events. So food is always going to be first come, first serve. And I know a lot of students will also, they're like, hey, I want to meet people. So they'll use different tags. So again, right now, a lot of the events offered on this calendar is operated or hosted by our offices because we work over the summer. We do not get a summer break. But once we get into the school year, you'll hopefully see a lot more events that are offered by students. So a lot of our student orgs, we have like a Indian Student Association, a Japanese Student Association, a Brazilian student, I could go on and on. We have a lot of different student orgs here at UC San Diego. They'll host their events also on our iEvents calendar. So hopefully it's a good representation of like office, like staff sponsored events, as well as student org sponsored events. But yeah, that's just our plug for the iEvents calendar.
And also that we're on Instagram.
Oh,
Instagram.
Yes, and we do giveaways. So if you have not followed us on our Instagram, you should, because we do giveaways a lot. So you should follow us. It's just at ispo.ucsd. That we have the same handle across all platforms. So at ispo. Okay, right there. Yes, orientation UCSD to register for more sessions. And then I think, yeah, these are things you already know. I'm just gonna shout out to our Zoom folks. Thanks for being here. If you have any questions, any other final questions for today's workshop, our wonderful presenters. Yeah.
At what time are the events posted on the email?
That's a great question. So iEvents is a live calendar, which means events could be added at any time. Yes. So a lot of students will bookmark that tab. They'll bookmark iEvents.ucsd.edu and they'll just check to see because I help manage the iEvents calendar. So events come in on like almost a daily basis. So I'm continually adding new events to the iEvents calendar. So I would check that.
Specific time of the day.
It's when I'm not here and I'm finally in front of my computer. Right now it's very scattered because I'm typically not in front of my computer. Yeah.
Are they cross-posted?
That's a great question. So typically, yes. In theory, they should be, if my team is doing what we need to do. However, I know that a lot of our grad students actually really like our iEvents calendar because, as a quick note, sometimes events on the Virtual Student Union tend to have a little bit more of like a focus towards our undergraduate student population. And so I know that a lot of grad students might keep an eye out for events on the iEvents calendar because for us, we service both populations equally, right? So we have a strong international undergraduate population, but we also have a really strong international graduate population. So there's also a tag. Sometimes our event program coordinators don't always remember to use the tag, but there's also a tag grad students. And so if you're ever curious about like what events, see, I know that that's wrong, but that's another. But typically they should be cross-promoted. And that brings up another, if you don't know what the Virtual Student Union is, it's essentially that same thing. So great, we're doing our job. But it's for all events at UC San Diego. So ISPO might be on there, recreation might be on there, like every different office could potentially put their events on the Virtual Student Union. So that would be another. iEvents typically has a little bit more of like a global focus, or we're trying to like target international students. Virtual Student Union, everyone. So it's like kind of an open, fair game. Great, thanks for pointing that out. Any other questions?
You'll be posting this deck?
Yes, and this webinar recording will also be available at iwebinars.ucsd.edu. click on webinars for newly advanced students. And typically they were really fast turnaround time. Like I would say 48 hours. So you can access all that. Okay. Well, with that, let's have a round of applause for all